Before beginning, I would love to thank everyone for my 200 sub special. This is, wow, this is a really big accomplishment, and honestly, I'm trying not to tear up right now. Sounds cliche, but really, when I started this channel, I never thought I was going to get past 30 subs. Like, or even 20 for that matter. I thought I had to ask all my friends to subscribe to me and check out my content, but now I'm growing faster than I can say, and I want to thank you all. I'd love to thank my friend Thorn for making this fan art that I'm displaying. And yeah, again, thank you all so much. Without further ado, let us begin my 200 sub special. Enjoy!
Never sleep, never wake. You know, they say this city, it never sleeps. She tapped the ashes from her cigarette and gazed up at the neon lights. But I'm just praying one day I'll wake up. I looked her over, watched her adjust the shoulder strap of her dirty tank top, watched her shift her weight to the other high heel. She couldn't have been older than 17. When she had asked me for a cigarette outside of the gas station, I had reluctantly obliged. But now she stood beside my car as I filled the tank. "Where you heading?" she asked softly. "Upstate," I lied. I closed the gas cap. "Gotta get going, though. You be safe now." "Can I bum a ride?" she asked. I hesitated, trying to think up the most polite way to reject her. "Just up the street, not far from here." Eyes wide. "Please." Something about the desperation in her voice, the fear in her eyes, made it impossible to say no. 5 minutes later, I'm driving down the highway, the young girl in the passenger seat. She stares out the window as the city lights fly by. Awkward silence. "Are you okay?" I asked. Out of the corner of my eye, I see her glance my way. After a moment, she turns to face out the window again. "Yes," she says simply. "Okay then," I think. It begins to rain. The water pouring down the windshield looks like blood in the red glow of the stoplight. Silence. The windshield wipers squeak. The girl stirs. "This is my turn. It's a right here." I oblige. I'm now driving down a dark street, over a railroad track, past dark warehouses with broken windows. I'm beginning to worry a bit. "How much further? I need to get on my way." "It's right up there. See that light?" She's pointing out the window now. I don't see a light, just more dark warehouses. The girl is shifting in her seat, looking around out the windows. "We're almost there, I promise." "I don't know about this," I say, getting frustrated and nervous. "I think I should take you back to the gas station." "No! See? There it is." She's pointing again. This time she's right, though. Sure enough, there's a light in the distance. I begin to feel a little less paranoid. We draw closer to the light. It's a neon sign. A large red inverted triangle attached high on the otherwise dark warehouse. Some kind of nightclub, maybe. We finally pull up beside the building on the right. She gives me a mumble, "Thanks," and slams the car door behind her. She runs in the rain to the front of the warehouse. She knocks. The door opens, and darkness swallows her. The red neon light flickers and goes out, leaving the building indistinguishable from the others on the street. I think. My ordeal is over and I can go home. Now to just turn the car around and get back to the main road. So I drive down the street a little further until I find an intersection where I pull a U-turn. I finish the U-turn and get the car straightened out. Suddenly my lights fall on something further down the road. In front of the warehouse the girl entered before. A mass of dark figures standing in the street. Dark, hooded figures standing still in the rain. Then, slowly they begin to move towards me, terrorizing like vomit in my throat. I reverse the car and turn around to go the other way. My headlights fall on another mass of robed figures. What is happening? Something smashes through my back window. That's when I first heard the chanting. A low grumble coming from all directions. It gets louder as the passenger side window smashes open. The second mass of hooded figures are now surrounding the front of the car. All I see is the glint of metal and the glow of white eyes with no pupils from beneath the hoods. I think for a second I recognize one of the hooded faces. The girl from the gas station. Only now her eyes are blank, white orbs. Then something smashes the headlights. Total darkness. We never sleep. We never wake. We never sleep. We never wake. I'm screaming and arms are grabbing me, pulling me out of the car. Rain is drenching me. My legs are dragging the ground. I kick and I scream and I fight, but it does no good. No one could ever hear me over the chanting. We never sleep, we never wake, we never sleep, we never wake. I look up toward the rain. The red neon triangle, looking like a pyramid in the sky, flickers to light again, and the warehouse doors open, and blackness swallows me. Hey, can I borrow a smoke? I lean against the gas pump. You hand me a Marlboro, reluctantly, politely. You know, they say this city never sleeps. Me, I'm just wishing I could wake up. You strain a smile, nod, try to leave. You know you can't leave. Can I bum a ride? I ask. Just up the road. Please.
It was a marionette, I think. It had a big head. The face was made of a wrinkly, flesh-colored rubber. The eyes were gigantic, bulging white orbs with red pupils. The hair was black, made of some hard substance that didn't mesh with the rubbery head. The teeth were gigantic, pure white and capable of moving up and down. The body and limbs were wooden, painted to resemble clothes. But the paint was faded. You could see the wood's natural brown in some places. Each arm and leg was a different length, but the hands and feet were pretty detailed. It made a loud clattering sound whenever it moved. That puppet followed me. I don't mean it got up and chased me. I mean it kept showing up in my life. My earliest memory of it was from my first birthday. I obviously don't remember the full details of that day, but I remember my parents singing happy birthday and that puppet. I don't know what it was there for. I just remembered it scared me to death and I couldn't stop crying. When I was able to talk, I asked my parents about it, and they said nothing like that had happened on my first birthday. They must have thought lying about it would make things easier for me. The next time I saw it, I was around 3. I was exploring a room filled with old stuff my parents had stored away, and I found a calendar, but I don't remember the year. There was a photo for each month, but the only one I remember was October, because that puppet was the image for it. I got scared and ran out of the room. I told my mom and tried to show her the calendar so that she'd know the puppet was real, but I couldn't find it. The room had been very messy, and I ran out of it so quickly I knocked over piles of stuff, and I guess the calendar got buried. I was 6 when it happened again. It was the middle of the night. I woke up from a nightmare I can't remember the details of. I was too scared to go back to sleep, so I went into the living room and turned on the TV. An old black and white show on Nick at Night was ending, and when the commercial started, that puppet came on. It was dancing while loud music played. I screamed and started screaming uncontrollably, but by the time my parents got downstairs, the puppet was gone. I didn't see the puppet again for a while after that, but I kept having nightmares about it. When I was 15, I decided to try and track it down, using the internet to try to find information about the calendar, the short, anything. No one had ever heard of it, but one day I got an instant message from someone I had never talked to before. Their screen name was a random mashup of numbers and letters, but their avatar was a picture of the puppet. The message read, "Glad you still remember me," then immediately signed off. They never contacted me or came online again. When I was 20, I was walking by a store that sold old toys and dolls, and in the front window, I saw the puppet. I went inside and asked the clerk if he knew anything about that puppet's history, when it was made, where it was from, anything. He didn't. He said that the puppet had just been sold to the store a few days ago, and I could have it for $6. I wasn't sure what to do. It still scared me, but having proof that it really existed seemed like a good idea. I bought the puppet and took it home. For a while, I felt better. I viewed the puppet as a childhood fear I had overcome as an adult, and even started to believe the explanations my parents had given me for the past appearances of it. I saw it somewhere else as a baby, imagined the calendar, dreamed the TV short, and someone online who had one played a trick on me. I kept the puppet, but as I moved on with my life, I pretty much forgot about it. I finished college, got married, and my wife should be giving birth in a few weeks. I was cleaning up a room for when the baby comes, and found the puppet, dusty and abandoned. I didn't want my kids seeing it when he was little, so I picked it up, and decided I might as well wipe the dust off before moving it to another place. When I dusted it, I noticed a faded inscription on the back. "This is what he'll look like." Before I could figure out what this meant, I heard my wife starting to cry. I rushed to her. She looked more upset than I had ever seen her. Sobbing, she told me that the doctor had just called. There was a problem with the baby.
The Midnight Game is an old pagan ritual used mainly as punishment for those who have broken the laws of the pagan religion in question. While it was mainly used as a scarce tactic to not disobey the gods, there is still a very existent chance of death to those who play the Midnight Game. There is an even higher chance of permanent mental scarring. It is highly recommended that you do not play the Midnight Game. However, for those few thrill seekers searching for a rush, or for those delving into obscure occult rituals, these are simple instructions on how to play. Do so at your own risk. It must be exactly 12 a.m. when you begin performing the ritual. Otherwise, it will not work. The materials you will need are a candle, a piece of paper, a writing implement, matches or a lighter, salt, a wooden door, and at least one drop of your own blood. If you are playing with multiple people, they will need their own materials, and they will need to perform the steps below accordingly. Step 1. Write your full name, first, middle, and last, on the piece of paper. Put at least one drop of blood on the paper. Allow it to soak into the paper. Step 2. Turn off all the lights in the place you are doing this. Go to your wooden door and place the paper with your name on it in front of the door. Now, take out the candle and light it. Place it on top of the paper. Step 3. Knock on the door 22 times. The hour must be 12 a.m. upon the final knock. Then, open the door, blow out the candle, and close the door. You have now just allowed the Midnight Man to enter your house. Step 4. Immediately relight your candle. This is where the game begins. You must now lurk around your now completely dark house with the lit candle in your hand. Your goal is to avoid the Midnight Man at all costs until 3:33 a.m. Should your candle ever go out, that means the Midnight Man is near you. You must relight your candle in the next 10 seconds. If you are not successful in doing this, you must then immediately surround yourself with a circle of salt. If you are unsuccessful in both of these actions, the Midnight Man will create a hallucination of your greatest fear and rip out your organs one by one. You will feel it, but you will be unable to react. If you are successful in creating the circle of salt, you must remain there until 3:33 a.m. If you are successful in relighting your candle, you may proceed with the game. You must continue to 3:33 a.m. without being attacked by the Midnight Man or being trapped inside the circle of salt. To win the midnight game, the Midnight Man will leave your house at 3:33 a.m. and you will be safe to proceed with your morning. Indications that you are near the Midnight Man will include sudden drop in temperature, seeing a pure black humanoid figure through the darkness, and hearing very soft whispering coming from an indescribable source. If you experience any of these, it is advised you leave the area to avoid the Midnight Man. Do not turn any of the lights on during the midnight game. Do not use a flashlight during the midnight game. Do not go to sleep during the midnight game. Do not attempt to use another person's blood on your name. Do not use a lighter as a substitute for a candle. It will not work. And definitely do not attempt to provoke the Midnight Man in any way. Even when the game is over, he will always be watching you. Good luck. You're going to need it.